Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are absolutely going to continue with what we were doing before. There's going to be a little bit of a review at the end of this, so make sure you're paying attention, get those questions right. But let's go right into today's lesson. So today we're talking about mercantilism in the 13 colonies. And you already learned a little bit about what mercantilism was, but let's review that again, make sure you're on point. So we've got two vocabulary words first. The first word is colony, and colony is land controlled by another country, which is they also send their people there. So you've got like the 13 colonies over here controlled by Britain. Everything in green, like Louisiana, was controlled by France. Everything down here in orange was controlled by the Spanish. And so those are places that were controlled by another country. And the country that controls the colony is called the mother country. So, mercantilism is when that mother country that controls the colony controls trade with that colony so they could make money. So, for example, they could have people in the colonies grow cotton, and then they would sell that cotton to the British, who would make it into clothes and sell those clothes back to the colonists for more money. So, this makes it so the mother country is always making more money, but think about how that makes the people in the colony feel. So if you look at this cartoon, see if you can figure out how this cartoon shows mercantilism. Exactly. You've got this mother country right here, and all the colonies are making her richer. They're trading, they're giving her gold and silver, they're giving her food, they're giving her raw materials. All those things are making her richer. Next. So in New England, this took a very specific turn. New England was actually the least mercantilist of all the colonies, but there were some things that they did. One of the big things they did was they cut down lots of trees and used that wood and that lumber and sent that to England. And in England, you would see big things like this where they were building ships using wood from New England. Then they would sell those ships back to America and make money. They even passed in the southern colonies. Sorry, I thought there was something else there. In the southern colonies was where the triangle trade was most prevalent, and you had the raw materials like cotton or tobacco, or in the case of Louisiana, sugar, and they would send those to England. And England would use manufactured goods, bring them down to Africa to buy slaves, and bring the slaves back over to make more money in the Americas, and then load those ships with raw materials, so on and so forth. But the people in England were the ones that got richer in that mother country. In Louisiana, there were a couple things going on. You had the sugar trade was a big one that was making France richer, but another one was the fur trade. A lot of the people in New France, in that big territory of Louisiana, were focused on trading for furs with the Native Americans. So they would get all these furs like this guy's got here, and they would sell them to France, where they'd be made into really fancy coats like this guy. This is King Louis, who was the king of France. Ugly dude. King Louis, they would give the furs to him or to people in France, and they would make them into really fancy things that cost lots of money. In Spain, they had control over different territory. Their territory was mostly in South America, where the Inca were or where the Aztec had been. And there you have guys like Cortez here, who took over the Inca land, or Cortez took over the Aztec land, Pizarro took over the Inca land, and then they would use the Native Americans as slaves, and they would send them down into the mines to get gold or to get silver, and then they would send that gold and silver back to Spain. There's some Spanish coins, and they would send those back to Spain so the Spanish people could get richer. So this is mercantilism. They're using trade with those colonies to make the mother country, Spain, richer. Spanish mercantilism was particularly bad. It was very close, actually, to what was going on in the southern colonies of the United States, because you had guys like Cortez and Pizarro, who if the Native Americans refused to work for them as slaves, they would burn them or kill them. Or here you have some people who that they enslaved and they forced them to work in the mines for them to get out as much raw materials as possible and send those back to Spain. So check out this cartoon. You've got mother country, colony, colony, colony. How is this mercantilism? Exactly. To sum up, mother country becomes rich from trade with the colonies. They're giving the mother country stuff. Now let's go through some review. Here's a couple words that we had already talked about a few weeks ago. See if you can get these questions right about them. First, propaganda is something that tries to get you to think a certain way. So you've got like us versus them, right? Them are the bad guys, we're the good guys, clearly. Bias is prejudice or an opinion somebody already holds. Think about which side would show that somebody was biased. Answer these questions. Another one is the Columbian Exchange. This was from right before break. All those new things going one way, all those new things going another way. What happened in the Columbian Exchange? Last are the explorers. This one's really hard. See if you remember what these explorers did. And that's it for today.